Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Enola Holmes on Netflix. And this is the new drama led by Millie Bobby Brown, who plays Enola Holmes, the younger sister of Sherlock Holmes. And the story is, their mother disappears and her two brothers come home for the first time in a long time, Henry Cavill playing Sherlock and Sam Claflin playing Mycroft. And she must figure out what's going on and where her mother went. And despite the fact that her oldest brother, who's now her guardian, wants to send her off to school to become a proper lady. And all the trimmings of a nice and well done little feminist movie all rolled up into a nice little charming mystery. Because honestly, this film was just delightful. I just had so much fun with this. And director Harry Bradbeer, who directed this film, has an interesting background in television, because the thing that he put in the most work into was Fleabag. So he directed Fleabag, and the second you watch this trailer, you can see where that style comes from, because there's so many little interludes of Enola looking right at the camera and interacting with us, similar to how Fleabag does in that show. And it really works in this. And it really works because how the camera is set up and how well and crisp all the cinematography is, how well shot it is. And then Millie Bobby Brown just brings so much charisma to this role. She really owns it. And she has a lot of charm to her. And she is so earnest in the way that she interacts with the audience. It's a lot of fun. There's snappy dialogue. And there's a lot of laughs, honestly, throughout this film that I enjoyed quite a bit. And that performance, along with the style being brought by the director in this, really makes for a memorable experience watching this film. In terms of the story, like, it's a fun little mystery. It's interesting watching Enola figuring out all these little details, and like her brother Sherlock's also on the case, but obviously they're not working together. But the film, like, in the end, it's not like the most shocking mystery, but it does the journey there really well. And it also has some great messaging in terms of young women trying to stand up and be what they want to be, because obviously this takes place in a time where it's like there's very specific expectations for you as a young woman. Like, even Sam Claflin brings up as like getting married and having children, and like Enola at this age, like if this was a girl at that age today, that would be like, whoa. And at this point she has that very same reaction. And it's interesting seeing her doing her thing as a little detective, going undercover, looking at all these little things. There's some tonal issues. There's some parts where this film does get considerably darker and violent that I felt like it was hard balancing that tone, and it took me aback a bit. But in general, the film keeps a very fun little jaunting pace to it and vibe to it. And I think it really works for the story. And the acting is really well done. Like I mentioned, Millie Bobby Brown is great. She is filled with charisma. She's so charismatic. She just really owns this role. And this character has a lot of dimensions to her. She's naive in learning the world because she really hasn't been out in it. But she's also so very clever. And it seems like she's always the smartest person in the room, despite the fact that nobody thinks she is. So, and she uses that to her advantage. And then Sam Claflin might not get the most to do as Mycroft, but like, he really owns it. He really delivers in terms of his physicality. Helen Bowman Carter is in it a little bit, but she's fun. The real performance that I wanted to mention is Henry Cavill, who looks like a giant hulking superhero in a suit. And it's really hard to get past that, because looking at this guy in this very specific time period dress, looks like he's going to rip out of his suit. But I never thought of Henry Cavill as Sherlock Holmes, and what he's able to do in this role, which isn't in the film, he's not in the film a whole lot, but he does so many things with just little acting choices and physical looks or smirks, and he really owns it. He balances that self-assuredness of Sherlock Holmes. You get that a lot in the Robert Downey Jr. ones, where he's like always believes that he is definitely the smartest one in the room, but also he has some tender moments with Enola, and like those little physical moments of just like, there's one particular scene towards the end of the film, this smirk of acknowledgement really sells it. Henry Cavill does it so well. But in the end, this film's a lot of fun and really worth the stream on Netflix. It's there. Go check it out. It's 2 hours, like a really solid 2 hours, but it's a fun time. And it's a nice little film that I think you can mostly enjoy with a family. There might be a couple of moments that are a little intense. But in the end, I enjoyed Enola Holmes quite a bit. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.